All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Card Talk. I'm Ryan, joined as always by Tyler and Lou. And today we have a big episode. You guys listened last week. You knew this episode was coming, but it is going to be a full Q&A episode. Jason says we have a good amount of questions from both Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, I guess. So a lot of questions coming. So, Ty, Lou, what are you thinking today? We start with what's on your mind. You want to do that, or you just want to go right into questions?
Yeah.
The usual?
Yeah, the usual.
All right, Ty, what's on your mind?
Well, first, my tummy's been like my tummy's acting up. I don't know. I woke up early this morning, went to bed early, proper Father's Day weekend. The kid might have been asleep by like 10:15 last night.
Oof, you
Me
like
too.
that.
It was glorious.
100%.
I'm starting to go that way. But I woke up with like a weird kind of tummy thing going on. It's really hard to become a champion. Tampa Bay Lightning showed up last night.
Did that.
Avs scored the first goal. You know, the Lightning have now been down 2-0, 2-0 at home, and 2-0, 1-0 at home, and won both those games. They're back-to-back champs for a reason. It's not going to be easy for the Avalanche to knock them off. The U.S. Open was epic. I was all in on Zalatoris. I could have sworn that putt on 18 was going in. And Fitzpatrick hit this sand shot that was like next level out of this world. Next level out of this world sand shot on 18 by Fitzpatrick. Brooks going to the live, I'm done with the live. After this weekend, I'm a PGA Tour guy.
PGA Tour time.
Yeah, I'm a PGA Tour guy.
It was up in the air before?
I was kind of feeling it out, seeing what was going on. I always kind of liked Brooks's aloof nature, but you're not cool anymore for being aloof. Great, you took the money, you can play golf, but you don't really care about golf, and I care about golf. And I think the PGA Tour, Justin Thomas, John Rahm, I'm about those guys.
The live is having tournaments in the United States?
Yeah.
None
of it's in Saudi, bro. It's all over.
I'm so confused.
I think they're doing one at Trump Bedminster.
Huh. Anyway.
But yeah, I played some golf. I played some tennis. Wimbledon's starting, by the way. Wimbledon's about to get going. Novak and Rafa, number 1 and 2 seed, even though neither are the top 2 ranked players in the world. It's NFT NYC week here in New York. We've got a V-Friends collaboration day going on at the cafe all day. And yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to answer some questions. Getting in the mix.
Sounds like Colin Morikawa was going to live also.
Sounds like Colin and Xander. Sounds like a bunch
Xander
of guys
too?
that don't know how to grind out,
Yeah, a lot of the
what it means to be a PGA Tour player. Yeah, I mean, those are top tier guys, but I don't know, Colin had a taste of being good. And then I guess it's a lot of money, but how about legacy? How about legacy, like John Rahm said?
Yeah.
How about legacy?
That was a great answer he gave over the weekend.
Dominated.
I'm not sure if you saw it right, but he basically was like, I just want to win and I want to be the best, and you can only be the best here. That was basically what he said.
Yeah.
Which is true.
I love it. Lou, what's on your mind?
Honestly, a whole lot of nothing. I'm thinking a lot about football. I'm thinking about my Prizm Rainbow. I'm thinking about the National. It's kind of a downtime for me with sports right now. I don't have a lot to watch. I watched F1 over the weekend, and that was fun. But
it was a sneaky race.
It was a sneaky good race. The last 20 laps or so were awesome. Just kind of feels like Max is running away with it, so it's going to be not that exciting down the stretch. I was a little bit interested by Mercedes just letting Lewis get the higher place finish on Sunday. I thought that was kind of strange, and George it won't give him any trouble to let him through. George is kind of in the championship race, so it was a little interesting.
Yeah, I fully see.
Real quick. Mets Astros tonight. Get ready for 3 Ls during these 4 games. That's from Jason Koppel. You're talking about the best team in baseball, the best team for 5 years straight. I don't care if they lose 3 or 4 in early June, Jay. Just wanted you to know that.
Sounds like a potential hedge, but back to my point. The whole Mercedes porpoising rule change fully feels like a Netflix storyline to get Lewis back in the mix. Like, couldn't seem more like they're making some changes to get Mercedes closer back to Red Bull. Like,
The rules changes were a little like, hey, might help
right
you along
after
a
my
little
man
bit.
says this is the most uncomfortable race he's ever had in his career.
I mean, it's kind of like, Tom Brady tears his ACL and they're like, hey, maybe we need to not lunge
Hey.
at quarterbacks anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
the best guy in the league just got hurt.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
we should adjust it. That's what happens when you're
It's
the
a good
GOAT.
point. You're not wrong.
They make those changes for you.
That's true.
Like
I
Lance
was watching
Stroll
his
getting
onboard
those
camera.
changes.
I was
Yeah,
watching
his-
his onboard camera over the weekend, and his car is like, like it's crazy how much it bounces. By the way,
Mhm.
speaking of Lance Stroll, like, didn't he finish
Top
above
10?
your boy
Big
over
top
the
10.
weekend?
I mean, can we pour one out for the Haas boys real quick?
I'm sorry? Who?
I'm talking about Lando.
Come on, brother. That's the first guy you took on. Jay, run the clip.
Of course, but you've since like jumped all over him, and you're like, "Oh, Daniel Ricciardo is the worst. Lando Norris is the best driver in the world." He finished like 27th in the race.
There is no such tape of that at all.
There's no
Leclerc,
tape of you attacking Daniel Ricciardo to defend Lando Norris.
no, there's tape of me attacking Daniel Ricciardo because he stinks.
Finished above Lando.
Brother, you are team Lando Norris. That's
Finished
literally
above Lando.
that's literally who you are. You're literally team Lando, or you're literally team Daniel Ricciardo.
I am team Daniel Ricciardo. That's true.
And team Lando. You're team
No.
both of those guys and Lance Stroll.
No.
Yeah, I have it on record, brother. I'll go listen every podcast episode to find it.
Please. I don't know where the Lance Stroll thing came from. The Lando one you can get me on because early McLaren days I was in the mix. I've since adapted and I've moved on to much bigger losers and choke artists. The Haas guys,
Such as
who are
the
my
Haas
guys.
boys.
Those
Yeah.
are my guys. But
Yeah,
that's
I think
Magnussen
it's
will
worth-
be my guy forever.
We're gonna get into Q&A, I promise, but it's worth noting this week that somebody put in the Facebook group, hey, as soon as Lou and Tyler denounce their team Haas guys, they
Which I
finish
never
5
do.
and 6.
which was
And then
fake news.
Lou responds in text message, Haas guys through and through.
That's fake news. That post was fake news.
That's Sunday at 12:16 p.m. And I said, Lou, don't jinx them. Literally 2.5 hours later, neither guy was in the race.
Enough of this. all
No,
right?
K-Mag was still in the race. He was just, 18th place?
Listen,
They
K-Mag
just-
almost took over Lewis right off the freaking
Almost.
first
That
two
doesn't
turns.
count. That doesn't count.
and then he
Almost
gets
does
his-
not count. We're
The
not
Lewis
here
leg
living on
game,
almost.
little-
The Jets almost went to the Super Bowl. They didn't. They
No, they didn't.
stink. We're not almost.
Didn't. Mag was trying to make a move. Lewis boxed him out and messed up his right front wing.
I'm just
Sometimes
saying,
people
when
get
you
unlucky,
guys are
and that's
in
just
on
the way it
Haas, Haas is out on us.
What are you in on? Can you pick one team for the rest of your life?
Lou, I'm just like you, man. I'm just constantly adjusting.
Like me. Yeah, I know.
You were team
14,
Lando.
drivers.
You were team Lando. Now
Right.
you're not. Now
Johnson,
you're like, hey,
what's on your mind?
Denounced
What's on your mind, Ryan?
and disavowed.
The Midwest show this weekend. That was
Mm.
that was awesome. Had a
Mm.
lot of fun there. Definitely has me excited for the national. So I would say spent more time behind the booth than out walking around. A lot of foot traffic. I felt pretty good about it. Friday was actually a better day than Saturday. A lot of trading on Saturday. Lot of trading. Definitely a lot of trading. Made some good trades. The vibe was definitely quarterbacks. We've talked about that for a while. A lot of people after some quarterbacks. Lot of Herbert and Allen. Those are probably the biggest two from the weekend. Was Herbert and Allen. Those are the guys most people were after. Lot of I know for a fact I'm going to regret this later. Like, I just know down the road, like, I'm going to end up eating my words on Jalen Hurts. He was probably one of the top 5 guys asked about this weekend. Like, it's not a probably. He was a top 5 guy asked about this weekend was Jalen Hurts. And just with all of the conversation I've had about not being a Jalen Hurts guy, and after seeing everybody else being a Jalen Hurts guy, I just know I'm going to be wrong there. So that's definitely disappointing. But I don't feel like we've talked about it in a few weeks, and yet here we are 5 weeks away from the national. 5 weeks, 35 days.
We talked about it last week.
That's
Let's be
insane.
fair.
35 days. 35.
Did you say we haven't been talking about it a lot
It
recently?
just doesn't feel like we've had as much chatter about it as we had like when we were 10 weeks out.
We devoted an entire episode to it
Yeah, like what, 3 weeks ago?
last week
No, it didn't drop last week. I was in Indy last week.
or 2 weeks ago.
So 2 weeks ago. I mean, that's
Yeah.
7 weeks. That's 50 days. Now we're 35 days. That's a long time. Yeah,
I'm
Jay,
excited.
even Jay said we're sleeping on the countdown. 35 days.
35 days, not that much.
That's less days
Actually-
than I anticipated, to be honest.
That's we're getting here, man. We're almost, I mean, it's June 21st.
Someone's got to promote the show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go on record right now. I will bring it up every week. The national countdown starts now. Jay, get the tape rolling. The national countdown, 35 days away.
Get the little counter right here.
You get the counter going. If you're not prepared, I mean, if you don't have everything, a lot of things prepared at this point, you're behind. So national countdown, 35 days away. But we have a lot of questions. Shout out to everybody that listened to a 13-minute long What's on Your Mind. Apologies for that. Let's get into questions. Kayla says, what is the card you're looking to pick up at the National? Lou, is yours an Elijah Moore Prizm 101?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the Elijah Moore Prizm 101.
Hmm.
Like, aggressively, that's the answer to the question. There's nothing even close to that. The patch is on eBay, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to wait. It doesn't count as a real rainbow unless I have the real 101, so I'm kind of...
Agreed. The Black Finite 101 is who will complete the rainbow.
I was in a break last night that had a Black Finite, but it was like a random linebacker.
Cards can be sneaky. Random players that don't have a lot of cards, it's sneaky stuff. Don't
Yeah,
sleep
you're
on
not
the
wrong.
random players.
Are we saying
Ty-
like multiple things or what?
No, that's the card.
Couldn't be less multiple things. It's just the one.
Like the Ohio State University.
Yeah.
So like I really want a first edition Blastoise Hollow.
Ty, your card should be, until you acquire one, it should be Ronaldo Mega Cracks 137. Like, that's
Yeah.
Tyler's card. Like, it shouldn't be
know,
anything
I
else
know,
until
I
you
know.
acquire it.
And
know.
don't
The fact
now
that you
start
said-
naming 4 or 5 different cards. Like, pick one right now.
Yeah, brother.
So like
the fact
I'm,
that you
I'm
mentioned
laying out the
Blastoise-
options and then I was gonna pick one.
Oh,
Listen,
good.
this is my Blastoise theory.
Here we go.
Hear me out on this. On Friday afternoon, I'm at Bradford Bath and Tennis Club, which is the pool and tennis club that I grew up at as a young chap. That's where I spent all
Shout
my
out to that
summers.
place.
When I was
That was a
8,
really
9, 10,
expensive
11,
snack.
12 years old, in 98, 99, all we did all summer was rip Pokemon packs, trade, get ripped off by the older teenagers, come home, cry about it. Maybe cards get a little bit of wet. Maybe you're working a couple deals here, there, what have you. I go back there playing the tennis member guest with my father late afternoon Friday. I got a buddy that I play golf with that has a family that's there. I hooked him up like 6 months ago with a fat pack of Pokemon cards for his kid. When I tell you every 8 through 11-year-old at that pool club was ripping and running Pokemon cards and packs, I was like, oh my goodness. Pokemon is here forever. And this new age of new Pokemon stuff is hot to try.
It is hot.
And with the prices where they're at now, I think first edition Pokemon is a play. Personally. So go low.
Can I
Especially
add-
the hollows. Yep.
Let me just add a quick point on that. I think it's underrated, and I don't think people respect how much product Pokemon moves a year in just trading cards. They have releases every single week, it feels like, and it's volume, and they're all moving.
Right. Do you move a decent bit of Pokemon in
Yeah.
your shop?
Oh, yeah. Tons of packs. We sell a ton of them.
Maybe not every week releases, right? Maybe I over
Yeah.
stretch it a little bit,
It's
but
probably about, I mean, there's probably a new release once every 3 to 4 weeks.
fine. And they're moving a lot of it.
And
Yeah,
people
it's a
are
good
pumped,
amount, yeah.
looking for them. Like
Yeah,
coming
we
in,
don't.
no one
like,
released
yeah,
it.
Pokemon is again. It's not a gross winner, but like in terms of just dollars, but number of transactions, it's probably a top 3 mover.
Yes,
for us.
transaction count is so insane.
So
So Ty,
there's
what's
that.
your one card?
I mean,
I know, brother. Making you pick one thing has
Yeah.
always been hard. We've got 15
that
things for
with
what's on your
honorable
mind.
mention, Cristiano Ronaldo 137 and 2017 Mbappe field level select. Maybe the bronze, maybe the white sparkle. That's
Kayla,
what
your
I'll leave it.
question should have
Any
been
other parallels?
Kayla. We gotta blame Kayla on this. Shout out to Kayla, longtime listener.
One card.
Maybe the
Kayla,
checkerboard.
Yeah, it should have been like
Next,
name
over to
15
Lou,
cards
over
you
to
want to
Ryan,
pick.
or I'll just keep talking.
Lou already gave his.
Oh, Lou did give his. I
He
forgot.
named one and moved on.
I'm not sure I know. One card.
I had
Man.
15 minutes to prepare for his answer.
Brother, I'm just trying
He
to
was
write
trying
down
to direct you. He was trying to get
80
you through the door.
you want. Yeah. Golly. You know what I would really love to get? A Lewis first year Chrome auto.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
I picked up a first year Max Chrome auto this weekend and a George first year Chrome auto. I think that would be something that would be cool to do in time is first year Chrome autograph set from F1. I would like to do that. I really enjoy F1. I really enjoy picking up that stuff.
That's a fun one to do.
Yeah, it's fun. Reg and I like it together. That would probably be my answer right now is a first year Lewis Chrome.
Wait, real
Sean-
quick. I just cursed a little bit, and I was wondering if we could institute beeps in our show. Like I want to beep out curse words. I think it's funny, and it also serves the purpose of no more cursing on the show.
Jay said beeps are easy. Done.
All right, we're doing
Amazing.
beeps.
So officially beeps going forward, and Emily.
Jay said beeps are easy, so now if there's no beep, that's a problem.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's speaking for Emily as well.
We
on
might
the audio
drop some
side.
haymakers, Jay.
I don't know,
Make
Jay.
notes,
All right, let's go, Sean.
timestamps. Got to pay
All right.
attention.
Sean Madden says, I am in the hobby 90% as a collector, 10% for flipping and resale. What are ways you keep track of the money you spend versus the money you sell for cards? What ways do you keep track of the money you spend versus money you sell cards for to see how your margins are? If volume is not a concern, right? If you're not doing 500 cards a week, Google Sheets are really nice because you can set up formulas automatically. When I was like first really trying to see if I could do cards full time, when I would buy a lot, let's say it's like 10 cards and the purpose is for complete resale, I would set it up to where like the card was on the left. And then I would break down the lot, every single card in the lot. Let's say it's $1,000, 10 cards. Where I would allocate like $250 for this card, $50 for this card, $60 for this card. So I would list all the cards out. Second row would be purchase price. So I would allocate all $1,000 to the purchase price. Next thing would be like PayPal fees, which is like purchase price, or then I would have sold price. And then I would have PayPal fees, eBay fees, shipping cost, right? Shipping cost is likely manual. You enter that in once you ship it. PayPal fees and eBay fees are a set formula. So like PayPal fees are 3%. So it's sold price times 0.03. It automatically calculates it for you. So you can basically set up this entire sheet to where at the very end, once you sell it, it'll tell you what it sold for. And then it would deduct, you'd have a running sum on the bottom. So it would tell you how much you've sold of the lot, how much you still have invested in the lot. And then once everything sells, it would tell you how much you made on that lot. And I would have tabs on the bottom of my Google sheet. So as they would go, I would keep track and I could say, oh, this deal I sold this deal I sold this, and it would allow me to track what I was making.
It might be fun. Mine wasn't as in-depth as that one because I didn't know how to break down lots IDs, but maybe we can go back and listen to this and we can adjust the one we have. It could be fun to put out like a little template for people just based on the one that we've had. Like, hey, if you want to use this, feel free type thing. Could be good. Because I agree, Google Sheets the way to go. It's just a little bit of a manual process, and there's no way around it.
Yeah, Google Sheets are also fun because you can update them at shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go in there, enter that kind of stuff on shows. Yeah, rather than like, Excel. So, fun little way to keep track.
I think that's a great clip, by the way.
Mason Cook says, how did Ryan get a start in the business? What did he do before Card Collector 2?
The business.
I used to work at a community college. I've shared my story before with Lou and Tyler. And I think I've on Card Talk before. I did a lot of like grant work. So did a lot like with the grants we would run, had to collect a lot of like demographic information for students enrolled in like certification courses. So collected a lot of demographic paperwork, ran an Access database, typing in a lot of this stuff. And I've shared pictures before, but one screen was demographic information on an Access database. The other screen was a lot of times Gary Vee. So I got into a lot of Gary's content.
I don't know who that is.
That's how I saw Tyler and Lou. The whole one life, no regret kind of thing. Kept getting ingrained into my head. And as cards grew for me, it became hey, don't want to be 50 and wonder if cards would have ever been a good life choice. So let's see what happens. And one thing led to another. Quit my job. Met Tyler and Lou at the National. Got on Card Talk, and here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Crazy. All right. The next question's to me, but I want to get Tyler and Lou involved, so I'm going to pull one from Instagram here. 916 Collectibles on IG says, how do you price your cards, or how do you price your 101s when selling?
This is a great question. I've never tried to sell a 101 before, so I have never actually had to do this.
Interesting.
So I'm not totally sure, but I imagine what I would do, same thing I do with like an 05 or an 10 if I can't find it. You have to just go by like similar type of parallels, or you go to find an alternate guy or girl
Bingo.
in the set that you're looking for.
Bingo.
And try to like basically scale it up or down accordingly, I think is the only way to do it. Jason and I were doing this a little bit, trying to figure out stuff for rainbows that we're doing. I was like, well, I paid this and your guy's a little bit less than my guy, so he's probably this, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit of a guessing game, but
yeah, so exactly. I think just to break it down, and where my head is just like, all right, you go with the product first. Like you find the product and other one of ones, same product, different players, right? To get a understanding of, okay, this is the product, 4 sales of one of ones from the same product that I have.
Yep.
See the players, great. Decide that player might be more in demand in the market. This player may be less in demand, maybe some more upside in my player or less upside, and kind of fit it in with there and use those comps. Same product, though. I think it's harder if you go player cross product.
I think
player cross product.
Both give you a basis.
Yeah.
Right.
Understood.
Both give you a basis for that. I think the biggest thing I would advise, your guys' answers are spot on. Those are the 2 things I look for. Players across other products. So Mac Jones 101 from XR, Prizm, plates and patches. Like you go down the list across product, and similar similar players from the same product. I think those are the 2 ways. So like a Prizm Black Finite rookie of Devonta Smith versus Jalen Waddle versus Elijah Moore. That tells you a lot. I think the biggest thing to keep in mind in a lot of this is realism, right? Elijah Moore, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith might be close, but Jalen Waddle probably sells better than Elijah Moore.
He definitely does.
Trevor Lawrence is not the same as Davis Mills, right? But Davis Mills is different than Shane Buechele from, the Chiefs, right? Like those are different, like they're not all apples to apples. Some of these are apples to watermelons. So realism is a big part of that, hey, Mac Jones 101 did 18,000. So my Davis Mills 101 has to be worth at least 15,000. That's not exactly how it works. So I think using both of those methods, the players in the same product players in the same product versus your player in other products. I think those are the 2 I would use.
Yeah. Also, like it's sneaky. The hardest part of that entire process is one way or the other, you have a bias either you're trying to sell for as much as you can or you're trying to buy for as little as you can. You need to be like very honest about where the player you're comparing to, like where those 2 players land on a scale of each other. Like Jalen Waddle, like I've been using Jalen Waddle for Eli a lot. Jalen just sells for more than Elijah does. And I've had to like figure that out in my head. Even though I do think Elijah's better than him, it ultimately doesn't matter. Like what they're selling for is what they're selling for.
Good, Ty?
Yep. Super good.
All right. 2020 or 2021 NFL Prizm retail. What's the safer long-term hold with all the quarterbacks from both? This is from hoodiehaskins.tcg on IG.
This is a tough question.
I would say
I think it's
safer is 2020 at the moment.
I agree. But it's tough.
Yeah, it could be in the long run that 2021 with the 6 QBs has potential. 7 if Kellen Mond ever gets anything from Kirk Cousins, but there's what ifs. There's so many what ifs. Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. Justin Herbert's one of the top 3 young quarterbacks in the league. I think there's more upside at the moment, more safety in 2020. But like Lou said, 2021 could play out. At the moment, the answer for safety is 2020.
I agree. For safety purposes.
Upside at different price, upside considering their different prices is different. But safety makes it 2020.
2021 also sneaky has Jamar Chase, who does not sell like normal wide receivers.
Justin Jefferson also sold very well in 2022. In 2020. Yeah. 2020 also, not 2022.
Good point.
Rob DeMay says, Ryan, What are your thoughts post Midwest Monster? I was there. I know the show was well attended, but was cash flowing or was everyone looking to trade or sell? Anything from this show affecting the thought process for the National? Yeah, so I talked about it last week. Shout out to Rob for the question. I talked about it last week. I used this show as a way to understand the market. Definitely a lot of trading on Saturday, not as heavy on Friday. Friday cash was flowing. Friday was one of the best days we've ever had at a show. It was very good for cash. Like, I'm not gonna lie on that. It was a very good day. Where was the market at? A lot of interest in QBs. I talked about that earlier. Jalen Hurts, Burrow, Herbert, Allen were definitely some of the bigger names. Not as much interest in Mac Jones. There wasn't a lot of interest. There wasn't a lot. He sells very well in the market, but there was not a lot of people asking for Mac Jones. I sold one Mac Jones and had 6 available. Sold almost every Jalen Hurts auto we had. Sold decent amount of Burrow, a lot of Josh Allen. Josh Allen was probably our best seller. You know who else didn't have a ton of demand at the show?
Zach Wilson.
Steph Curry.
Well,
Interesting.
it's a little early.
Maybe because we know the price and
winning is baked in.
Yeah, winning's baked in. It's expensive. He's a GOAT. And maybe we're not seeing as much like investment grade purchases as much as we're seeing like potential high upside returns.
Correct. Value plays. Because you know who was in demand?
Who's that?
LeBron.
Because he may come back.
We saw a lot of LeBron rookies. A lot of LeBron rookie stuff moved. A lot of it did. A lot of LeBron. People think LeBron. People must be thinking LeBron's a value because we sold a lot of LeBron stuff.
Can I make a quick statement about LeBron?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he changes teams, he will not win another championship. So I don't know what people are buying in that situation.
Safety long term. Top 3 basketball player of all time.
Maybe. But I don't think that's what people are buying that for right there.
Does Curry and LeBron have the same amount of rings?
Yes.
Sneaky argument to be made.
All is said and done, when you look back at the Lakers chip that Bron won,
bubble title is a big time
a little bit like Hamilton getting the rules changed for porpoising.
Steph Curry had to get Kevin Durant to beat LeBron. Let's not get crazy here.
LeBron left. What do you mean? LeBron
LeBron's
went to Miami
the king
and
of
brought
getting
in.
people on his
Like
team.
LeBron changed the NBA to win his first ring, bro. And the only reason he won is because Chris Bosh got an insane rebound, kicked it out to Ray Allen, who made the luckiest shot of his life.
I don't know if it was a lucky shot.
Yeah, it was a pretty lucky shot. It was incredible.
If you watch it, bro, he was literally falling backwards.
I don't know if we're gonna say Ray Allen's shot was a lucky shot.
Yeah, let's just look at the
maybe
roster.
Lucky's not the right word because it's Ray Allen from 3.
Yeah, let's
That misses, and LeBron's entire career narrative is different. Entire career narrative.
And if Steph Curry's ankle doesn't hold up from the start, he doesn't sign that small of a contract with the Warriors for 4 years, $44 million. And the Warriors aren't what the Warriors are, brother. This is a whole game of
respect. I know, but he's got 2 rings without.
We just can't say, hey, if Ray Allen doesn't hit the shot, LeBron's career is different. Yeah, if Steph Curry blows out an ankle, Steph Curry isn't.
I'm just saying, in the history of the NBA, which is the most probably different title than all other titles.
I don't know the history of the NBA well enough to give you all of those.
Yeah, but off the top of your head, you know what he's saying.
No, no.
Like the bubble title was just a completely different situation.
Oh, the bubble title? Yeah, I'll give you the bubble title.
I'm just saying. And then if he doesn't win that,
you could pretty much
he's got
toss
none
that
with the
out.
Lakers, and he's got 3, and it's a little bit of a different situation.
And they weren't even competitive last year.
Yeah, LeBron's all-time career statistics, when it's all said and done,
dude, he's all-time amazing, best, clear-cut, most admirable athlete of our entire generation. No doubt about it. No debate. No nothing.
Again, I love Steph Curry, and the argument for Steph Curry, they are closer than people think.
Don't let him get one more.
Aligned.
And and Steph has room for at least one more. You
They're
can't say the same
very
for LeBron
good.
anymore.
They're very good. And I talked about this on the way to the show with the guys that we went up with. What the Warriors were able to accomplish, all of those superstars, the personalities, the ability to draft. That again, the Kevin Durant thing's different, but they also won pre-Kevin Durant and post-Kevin Durant, right? To draft Clay, Curry, Draymond, right? Wiseman, Kuminga, they didn't really do much. They
You
drafted
bring in Wiggins.
Jordan Poole
Yeah,
to bring in Wiggins. Like all
Gary
of those
Payton Jr.
personalities and drafting all those, like to be able to win and keep personalities together in a league where it's just like, hey, I'm leaving. That
I've watched
says
a
a
lot
lot.
of NBA. Jordan Poole is a special rookie.
Jordan Poole's very good. Their cult, like the Warriors culture, is like people are going to be writing books about that for the next 35 years.
Yeah.
To bring in A. Wiggins as like a fourth dude and
Like just for
slot
fun
in.
on the side, it's insane. Wiseman didn't even play in the finals.
Curry set the all-time single-season NBA three-point record this year. This year.
If he wins another one, it might get weird.
And that's the thing about the Warriors is like you've got, you don't even need Clay to be your number one scorer. He's a defensive guy. Wiggins, right, defensive. Draymond, defensive. You don't need Steph Curry to play defense. You got everybody else to play defense. Steph Curry just pulling up from the logo, and then you got these guys coming down playing like they're just they're good.
They have
good.
They have 4 guys who could drop 30 plus on any given night.
Agreed. And they've got other guys that could be really, really good that didn't really play a lot yet because they don't need them.
Yeah.
Aligned.
Did Wiseman even play all year?
Basically, no.
Wild. Next question.
Next question.
Michael Burgess says, best way to price a Pop 1 card. I did a sub with SGC and I got an SGC 10.95, none higher in SGC and none graded from PSA and BGS. A true Pop 1. I'm more familiar with the price premium for PSA. Any trend or pattern for price increase from raw to SGC 9.5 or 10? Thanks. Love the pod.
No, I think it's similar to the other question, but I think we can have a little combo around like this whole like Pop 1. I think you get it at a lot of shows. Like individuals will pull up and like have the most random card.
PSA
like,
8 Pop 1.
Yeah, be like Pop 1, none higher. And you're like, guy, it's because like 3 people ever sent the card in. You know, like
Pop 1, 1,000%.
Pop 1.
I hate that word.
Yeah, it's like
get a BGS 10 black label and let's call it a Pop 1. Your PSA 8 Lamar 3rd year Prizm, purple power out of 48 Pop 1 doesn't count.
Purple power out of 48.
Out of 49. It just doesn't count.
That's a good point. Like, yeah. I
feel like you have to have an extremely rare card and it needs to be legitimately a Pop 1 in a very high grade for it to count.
Is there a weird argument that like Pop 4, and this is the highest grade, is actually a better, stronger thing than Pop 1?
I would definitely prefer highest Pop as opposed to Pop 1.
Like if it's a super vintage card and
grade
17 and it's the highest grade versus it being like this is a Pop 1.
Yeah, I mean every card's different, so I don't think it's like a unanimous decision. It's just Pop 1 is the most overstated terminology in the hobby.
It'd be like a Don Russ paper parallel Pulisic 30 year.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like
clearly Don Russ LaMelo Ball of 237.
Now, for the purpose of for Michael's question, I mean, again, same thing as earlier. If it's a Pop 1, you're not like just like a 101. You're not going to find something. It's similar cards from similar products. 9.5, 10 SGC. I would probably lean somewhere around PSA 9.
Yes.
Yeah, I would find something comparable. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not comparing it to a PSA 10 with an SGC 9.5, 10 at the moment with where the market's at. But again, you're going to have to, because there's nothing else available, because it is a Pop 1, you're going to have to find a like item to price the card. But Ian Priest says, I believe Flawless is the only game use patch auto cards being released right now. Are jerseys being kept whole because they're worth more money?
I was just ruminating in this in my mind. I think COVID is a huge factor in this. Like, I'm not sure about collecting jerseys during the last 2 years of COVID has been as simple and easy as in the past. Could be a complete left field take, but I was just like, are the players not giving them up as much because they value them more personally? Are memorabilia dealers being quicker to the draw in purchasing? And then 3, which I actually think is probably like, at least if you think about in the NBA, I remember like they weren't allowed to do jersey exchanges, for a while in sport. And I wonder just if like there hasn't been that because of COVID.
I
Like
said
game
breaking
worn
news. I was
jerseys.
not recording audio this entire time. Emily, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Nice.
Yikes.
Just saves me burial. I love when one, people are late because I'm known as the late person, and then
Yep.
two, people aren't recording because I'm usually the not recording person.
Yeah, I was not recording. I thought I was. I was not. I just looked over. We're moving on. Back to
I think
back to
part
the
of it could.
jersey patch
I
thing.
think there's two sides to this. One being that players are swapping them with each other, and players realize the value that they have and don't need to give them up for pennies on the dollar anymore and just toss them in the crowd. Players are understanding their worth. I think the other thing is card companies don't need it. It's not required. Product still sells. Still
Mhm.
buying Flawless, still buying
Yeah.
NT, still buying Topps Dynasty, still buying anything without game used jerseys and autos. Just not saying it's the right answer, but I don't see people not buying cards because they're not game used. I think game used would add a premium to cards. I think the cards could have more value with game used. Like it would make cards way cooler. But when Steph Curry, what's the Steph Curry game used jersey sell for now from a regular season? What's that worth?
Probably a lot of money.
I can't imagine it's cheap.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think we've given our perspective on the game used jersey thing. I think a certain card that sold recently was with game used jerseys, and that wasn't that interesting. But I think that you're right, Ryan, where these companies have now created a world where it's not expected that people would be wearing that they would be game used jerseys. I also think normal people who are just buying cards every day just assume that they're game used patches, because I know I do.
But is it also realistic to expect that everything is game used, right?
I don't think people know the different, like, I don't think, unless you're in this hobby, I don't think people are like, oh yeah, that's event worn. Like, I don't think people even think about that. People just think, oh, it's a patch. It was obviously worn.
Yeah, it's just
Although,
like it's
shout
like
out me for wearing the Tony Miola game worn jersey to the event
True.
on Saturday night. I mean,
That
I
was a
felt
banger.
real good about that thing.
That was a banger, Rye. Give them some respect.
oh that's an all time move. That's a Ty move. I would expect that from Ty.
All right, you did have a little bit of
That
eye
made me
roll
feel
happening,
really
so.
good, right? What was that?
Which would you rather have? 2 years. It says 2 nationals in a year, no other shows, or a Midwest monster every other month.
Can I say neither? Because that sounds really tiring.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, quality for sure.
It's nothing over the Midwest monster. Let me be very clear. That was
I've
a
never been to
great
that
show.
So
It would be my answer would be the same for the Midwest monster, Dallas, Atlanta, Chantilly. Those are all amazing shows. The National is nothing. Like the National, it just doesn't compare to those shows. It is the National. It's the
Get me to
sports
the
card mecca.
national.
Like it doesn't compare. So the answer is and will always be the National. If the National was once a year, or there was a great show like that would I give up the ability to go to Dallas or Chantilly or the Midwest Monster to go to the National one time? Yes, is the answer. Yes,
yeah,
is the
it's
answer.
like Disney World
just got me
versus something
hyped.
else. Disney World was the answer to the question every time.
Yeah, you just got me
100%.
hyped. I've never been to Disney World. I can't wait. I'm gonna go.
You've
so
never been
hard.
to Disney World?
Never been to Disney in my life ever,
It's like my favorite place in the entire world.
and I grew up deep on Disney. Like,
Regina used to work there. I tell you that.
I did know
remember we had
that.
that combo.
Yeah,
She did this
loves
like
Disney.
the college program there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Disney
Yeah.
is.
I think fondly back on our entire weekend at F1 for the rest of my life, but the pre-hang, coffee, bagel at your spot all together as a crew, like I really enjoyed that. Sam was in the mix from overtime.
That's when you guys were talking about toast and bagels or not toast and bagels.
I guess so.
Yes,
Jay was saying
probably.
you can't toast bagels.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a good
Florida
toasted
bagel
bagel.
you can toast because it's not even a real bagel. All right, Jeffrey Hartozy.
Yep. You got it, Lou.
Oh, I got it. Okay, great. Should Panini make a Prizm QB only box? Isn't it the only card that matters?
Negative. There's a lot of collectors in this hobby. There's a lot of children that are fans of teams that love specific players, wide receivers, running backs. I mean, I've only heard Lou talk about Elijah Moore, Michael Carter. Yep. Obviously, quarterbacks are such a draw, are so important in the game, everything. But if that was the case and you forward think 15 years, where's Randy Moss? Where's Jerry Rice? You know, where's some of these guys? Where's LT? You know, Saquon Barkley, like, you know, if you think about it now as a separate special box, potentially, sure, but why then wouldn't you not do wide receiver or running back?
I think it's more of a hot box type thing, not a promoted, sold individual product. I think you do it as like one box has all cards that are only quarterbacks, and you have no idea where it's at. Right. So there's no markings on
cool.
it. There's no advertised product. It's just like a random box you open will be nothing but quarterbacks. It would add value to the product and add an additional desire for breakers to chase that. Because if you were in that break and you pulled only quarterbacks, the teams that have QBs, your value just went up, exponentially. So I think that's a cool thing. But to sell it as its only product, nobody I guess it would make regular Prizm way less because breakers are going to definitely want the one that's only QBs. But
Yeah,
I like it more as a
If-
randomly inserted thing.
Yeah, if they did that, there'd be special QB choice parallels and blah 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 blah. Like that's how that would end up going. Part of the fun of it is that you could get skunked. It sucks, but it's fun. It is part of the fun. So you can't do that.
Stubset 5 on IG. That's a good question. What are your guys' thoughts right now? That's a better acquisition for Fanatics, Panini or Upper Deck?
I think that the better. I think personally, I'd probably say Upper Deck based on the history, based on the IP, and based on what would be the acquisition cost comparatively. It's just one man's personal take.
I think that's my take as well. I think Upper Deck has more built into it from a brand loyalty side and things like that. That said, Panini has a lot more licenses than Upper Deck has, so you'd have to consider that as well. I don't know. Probably Upper Deck though.
Upper Deck from a value perspective is an intriguing play. If you can still retain the rights to LeBron and Jordan, that makes it very intriguing with old school basketball, LeBron, Jordan, the basketball license. Like, that's intriguing. I don't know. Football and basketball are really hot in the market right now. That's a good question. That's a really good question.
And
Yeah.
I think it's closer than most people would think off the rip until they start thinking about it.
I would agree with that. Let's see. Ty, the homie Zach on IG says,
The homie.
how do you learn more about cards in soccer, golf, tennis, and wrestling categories?
So I always go to like what I still do at night. You go on eBay and you search products, players, sales, rabbit holes, comps, like all that jazz. That's what I think. Soccer. Here you go. Cool. Pick a product. eBay sold. Go down. See stuff you like. See stuff that's interesting. Come up with a hypothesis. Come up with thesis. Come up with, okay, this is what I think. If you know nothing, all right, well, Google. Who are the best 10 footy teams in the world? Look at the rosters. Who scored the most goals? Search eBay. Wrestling. Top 10 most followed wrestlers on Instagram. 10 legendary wrestlers. eBay. Search. And just type the name and PSA or BGS, what have you. Learn the products. Wrestling card products. Google. Boom. eBay. Just like look at prices. Look at comps. Then you have to, at some point, start to come up with your own hypothesis. Okay, well, it seems like, Macho Man Savage or The Rock or this person has a weird cult following, The Undertaker. Ask 5 people. Who do you like more? This person or that person? Great. Okay. But why does this person sell more when everyone tells me they like that? Maybe there's an opportunity there. You got to start to collect data, hypothesize, test your own hypotheses. That's how I think about it.
Love it. John?
Card Ladder, also, I say eBay, but like Card Ladders make a ton of strides. Card Ladder, great product to like dive in there too.
Especially when you're looking for rarer cards that you can't find comps that aren't as liquid. You can't find comps as easily. Card Ladder is easily the go-to because you can actually look at across different websites, different auction sites, different places, the prices.
John A says, Lou, describe in 3 words your hatred for the state of Ohio.
Brian Johnson's demeanor.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
I'll give you that. That's pretty good. I like that answer. That's actually better than I expected. Jason Morehouse says, with the flawless 101 Mac Jones shield that was pulled, not being game used or even player worn, basically a Dick's Sporting Goods jersey, does that hurt the long-term value of the card?
I don't think anyone cares, like I said before. Ultimately, no one cares.
Why? Explain to me this. Ty, real quick, answer your thoughts on this question. I want to ask you something.
Yep.
Does the Mac Jones 101 flawless shield patch auto not being game worn or player used, does that hurt the long-term value of the card? Lou said no.
Personally, I believe so.
Okay. So Lou, then I would ask you, because Tyler's answer is different. Why does that not hurt the value of the card, but the LeBron not being in the original PSA holder, like you believe that was a negative, right?
The LeBron logo
Not being
man?
in the original, yeah, the logo man not being in the original holder, it was slabbed authentic. In your mind, like where do those two things differ?
I'd probably change my answer on LeBron. I'm saying for me, that I don't remember the full context. I think that conversation was in relation to like for my personal preference. I would rather it not be. So that's that. Speaking to the market at large, I don't think people actually care. The only reason, and again, I'm going to stop bringing up this card. The only reason that triple logo man is going to sell for what it sells for is because everyone said that's what the value is. The jerseys are not anything. So if that doesn't matter and those can still sell for $5 million, it doesn't matter. Where the jersey comes from has no impact on the value of the card. Personal preference, of course, I want that to be game worn. I want it to be photo matched, but I'm not going to get that. And I don't think the market at large knows or cares about the difference.
Interesting. I like it. I agree. I think that's a good point. Joaquin says, with the discussion lately about authentic versus the numerical grade for certain cards, would you rather have a Lewis Hamilton auto at a 25 as authentic or a PSA 7?
PSA 7.
My favorite podcast. You guys rock. Thanks, The Dream.
PSA 7 is not even close.
Okay.
Especially for that set.
PSA 6 or authentic?
6.
Authentic. For Chrome, the F1 Chrome is hard because it's a rough set. I would, for Chrome specifically, for 2020 F1 Chrome, 7 or higher slabbed grade, 6 or lower slabbed authentic.
6 or lower, I wouldn't even put it in a slab, but you tell me I have to pick, I'm picking the 6.
I would say authentic. The one thing about having it graded, low grade or even authentic, is it just makes it a little bit easier to sell. There's a crease in the back. There's something on the back. You know what it is.
Yeah.
You sell a card now and you're like, hey, this card's got a chip on the back. Somebody gets it and like, yeah, man, this chip's bigger than I expected. I'd like to return the item. It just makes it harder to sell. Personally, I think the authentic grade makes it easier to sell.
You have more experience than me with that, so I'll take your word for it. I'm definitely pretty hard-headed on it, though. I know for me, I would never buy something that's PSA authentic unless it was like a very specific case.
Jonathan Crawford says, how long after a set is released do you wait before buying singles? With Prizm football and basketball being released recently, prices always start high, then cool off. Is there a general time frame you follow before considering picking up singles of rookies in particular? To me, I think it's about rarity. What are the odds you're going to be able to find that card when they cool down? Right? If the card is at a 10 and 2 get listed in the first week, yes, Prizm is hot and that's a big card. Those cards are available because a lot of people are ripping it because it is hot. They're not going to be as many people ripping Prizm football a year from now. So if a gold Prizm, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, etc. becomes available, the odds of one being available a year from now are probably lower than they are in the first month. But a Zach Wilson Prizm green from retail being available a year is much higher than it is right now. So it matters how rare the card is when you're considering that option.
I agree. Ty?
I don't have too much opinion based on following up that answer.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is it's very based on rarity, like Ryan's saying. I would only do it for like an of 25 or below. I was doing it with Eli because I just wanted to do it, and I've kind of come to realize now that I don't need to anymore, so I'm slowing down. Like even case hits, like I was looking at a snakeskin, and Eli snakeskin went for $420 last night. There's no way that card sells for $420 in like 3 months, and there's enough snakeskins out. I think there's 3 listed right now, so I'm gonna just cool that one down. Like just a very specific personal story for me for context. I definitely think it's worth waiting, especially if it's someone who's not a main chase in a product.
Yeah. I would say I would definitely not wait on something if you don't expect another one to come again. Like I
Yes.
bought a big Prizm Gold recently that I paid a lot of money for because I don't think you're going to see a lot of them available, right? Because you got to think, especially on something like Prizm. Prizm is a product a lot of people invest in sealed. So if there's a gold like Tom Brady that you're like, hey, I really want one, how many cases are going to be held back because people are investing in them? Like,
Yep.
Sealed wax is an investment. If it's not getting ripped and they're stashed somewhere, there might be 3, 4 Tom Brady golds in cases that aren't even on the market. So that means 6 of them could be available in the market. Okay, well, if 6 people for Tom Brady gold prisms, on the super rare stuff like that, I think I think you got to be, especially if you really want it. I think it makes more sense to pull the trigger on the rare stuff earlier rather than try to play the long game on that.
I agree. This year's Prizm, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 parallels, 35 or no, number to 35 or lower. Those are the only ones I'm actively pursuing right now, as opposed to anything of 35 and above, just for very specific numbers.
Topps Chrome, PSG, Mbappe on card autos. I wouldn't wait.
Would not wait on those.
All right. Highton says, has Lou decided which English soccer championship team to support? I met Tyler and Lou at Veecon, both top guys, and pitched my West Brom Albion to him. With U.S. men's national team striker Darryl Dike and a real shot at return to the Premier League next season, we are your team. Next time you're in the UK, we'll go to a game and also sample some of the great local cuisine. Love the show. Keep up the great work. Lou, you never did do signing day.
I never did.
Sure.
We never did signing day. Don't say I. We. Never
Well, it's
did
your
signing day.
decision.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's.
My decision's made. It's just that it wasn't brought out for the show.
Is it made?
My decision's made.
Can we announce the decision right now?
Yeah, on the Sheffield.
Wait,
guy,
this is
really
signing
sure.
days. Can I be the like?
Oh,
All right, Lou Janu is going to pick an English soccer championship team live here on Whatnot.
Excuse me?
I said Whatnot.
Live here on Card Talk.
Sorry, I'm so used to going live on Whatnot. Take 2.
I mean, you better PayPal the man after that.
Yeah, what's up, bro? Like, throw the bag.
Wait, who swore? Did I swear? Shoot, gosh, man, this
No,
is bad.
you pretty much.
What a
swore by calling on
disaster
the show.
statement.
Whatnot,
I could
but-
never be your announcer for signing day, Lou. Sorry.
That's true. You could not.
But Lou is going to
Yes.
pick a soccer championship team. Lou, who are your 3 finalists here?
It's been a few weeks, so I don't totally remember the full list. I think it was West Brom was one of them.
because of our great run-in with Highton Patel at Veecon.
Yes, with our boy. The other one was Sheffield United. And the third one was Leeds. I think it was Leeds was the other one I was thinking about.
Okay.
They're a
Lou,
prem
have you
team.
made a decision?
I have made a decision, and it's based purely on logo. I went fully off the vibes. I couldn't decide, and I realized that it doesn't matter who I pick. I think to pick someone, and then I'll be into it. Oh wait, the other team. Which team just got promoted? Ty?
Fulham.
No, classic team. Been around for a gazillion years.
Let's
American
see.
owner, which is like half the league now.
Yeah, over 12 teams have controlling Norwich.
No,
The promoted teams are. No, that was last year. I don't know who went up.
I don't remember who it was. Anyway, the answer is Sheffield. Sheffield United is the squad.
Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest was the other team I was thinking of, but I did not go with them because they ended up getting promoted, so it wasn't as exciting.
So Sheffield is the team for Lou.
Sheffield is the squad. I love
There
their
you have it.
logo. I love their location. I love their stadium. I'm a big fan. I might have to make a trip out next year. We'll see the vibes.
We're definitely going to Sheffield.
Live
I
here
would
on
love
Card
to go to
Talk.
Sheffield. I would
Lou
love.
has decided to sign with Sheffield
I'm taking my talents to Sheffield
as their number one supporter.
since day one. Day one being today.
But actually, Matt Fitzpatrick, who just won the U.S. Open this past weekend,
Yes.
is a big-time Sheffield United supporter and had SUFC imprinted in his putter.
Is that true? That's kind of
During
fire.
the
I was gonna have some negative things to say about Matt Sheffield or by what's his name?
Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Matthew Fitzpatrick. I was gonna have
AKA
some negative
Matthew
things to
Sheffield.
say. But I'm not gonna say that because he's my guy now. I know
You
that.
guys are tough on the same cloth.
Yeah, right.
I would expect the Card Talk listeners to really keep an eye on Sheffield's success over the next 6 to 12 months because, as the last couple teams Lou's picked up on a little bit, later in their process, it has not gone well. Haas being an example, right? Georgia would be one for sure, but that was, Lou got off of the Michigan train. That was kind of like a asterisk thing.
Never got
Had
off.
to get off on Daniel Ricciardo or / Lando Norris,
Did not have to get off there.
pumped off that.
And they stink, so I was right about that.
Haas just not good. Interesting.
Let's really
to
talk
see
about it. Astros W, Georgia W, Sheffield we'll see. Haas not looking hot, but it's early.
Lando
It's
Norris,
early.
Lando's your guy next.
Jets. Yeah, Jay.
Well, they've been since day one. That's really since day one.
All right. Shout out to Lou for doing sign day here with us
Sheffield, baby.
on Card Talk. Appreciate that, Lou. All right, let's get into some play of the week. Jay says we got a loaded one this show. So Lou play of the week. Shout out to everybody who submitted questions. All right, let me blow the screen.
Matt Fitzpatrick also a big F1 guy, it looks like.
AJM Cards 1994. Hi all, started listening to the show back in January, and I recently had found something worth submitting for play of the week. On one of the first Card Talk podcasts that I listened to in January, the topic of the conversation was centered around looking ahead for future TV or movie releases, and if there would be any plays on cards that would make sense with release dates. One of the cards that caught my attention that would have a new season in the summer was Stranger Things. Stranger Things last had a season in 2019 before the hobby boom, and I thought that cards for the show back in January would be overlooked. I had stumbled upon a listing back then for a Millie Bobby Brown Leaf Auto PSA 10 that was listed as a Pop 1. There's the Pop 1 again. I won the auction at a little north of $220 after taxes and fees. I thought at this time it was not a bad buy considering she had a bright future in Hollywood and the mass popularity of Stranger Things. Recently listed the card again as a Pop 1. Once again, Pop 1. The season premiere for $800 through promoted listings and accepted an offer for $500. After taxes, fees, and shipping, I made about $220. Looking forward to future television / movie releases. Definitely paid off. Thanks again for the great flip several months ago. Love the show.
Love this. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I forget the things we say on the show sometimes. That was clearly a great take by us.
I like to play. I think Pop Century cards are popping, to be frank. So just random aside. Have y'all seen this show, The Staircase?
Yep.
Fire.
Yep. The documentary was so not good compared to how good the show is.
Yeah, it was I'm all over the place. There's a documentary. There's a documentary that's happening in the show. There's a show.
Mm-hmm.
It's old. It's new. What's new is old. But it's fire.
Yeah, heck of a play. I've always loved the looking ahead, being 6 months ahead on something before most people catch on. I think that's heck of a play by AJM.
That's an old photo of Millie Bobby Brown too. It looks like.
Yeah.
All right, next play, Jay. All right, this is from C_Tate56. Chris says, hey, I have a submission for play of the week. I was set up at a show and someone approached me looking to sell some cards, and I picked out 11 cards that I liked. He said, give him $10 for the 11 cards. So I said, okay, sure. Did the deal. I didn't think much of it, but 2 of the cards in the lot were pictured below. After comping half the lot, I put the Wander out for $40 and it sold later that day. I didn't look at the Dort till about a month later and found out it was an SSP. I listed it on eBay for $150 and accepted an offer for $75. After all, I turned $75 into a little over 100 with still 9 cards to work with. Thank you guys, not from Ohio.
Thank you, Chris.
That's a fire play, Chris. That's a fire play. I'm excited for National.
He turned
Turn
10.
10.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, he turned 10 into a little over 100.
Yes. That's great work. Again, I don't know how you can be someone walking up to a table and not know what you have in your hands, but everyone's got to go a little slow. Everyone slow it down a little bit, do a little bit of research before you start just giving cards away. That's my take on this.
Or when you come to my table, just be fast. Super fast.
Yeah, or have a good idea of what you're doing so we can maneuver.
Or don't know what you're doing, come and want to move fast.
I would never say that.
All right, next
Just
slide.
kidding. Just kidding.
All right, this is from Greg the Yak. This will be a good one. Wow, this will be a really good one. This goes back to Thanksgiving 2021 when I bought a 60-pound bag of assorted sports cards from Goodwill Auctions online for $60 shipped. I wanted to give my 8-year-old something to look forward to over Thanksgiving break. There was one picture in a pile of cards, but you could see some Chrome and Metal Universe cards, including a Finest Jordan. We had a ton of fun digging, and my son pulled out a bunch of cool cards for his PC, like this Kobe Fleer Metal rookie. Things got interesting while I was sorting the rest of the stuff. There was a ton of 1998 Metal Universe, and the last card in the stack was serial numbered. That's right, a PMG. Dan Marino, no less. Jumping forward, I got it into a PSA regular allocation, submitted it for $50, expecting a 6. Month later, came as a PSA 8 for Pop 2, only one higher, sold June 12th for a net of $11.66.
What a find, man. I love that.
Imagine buying 60-pound of assorted cards and pulling $1,000 98 PMG of a top 10 all-time quarterback.
And not only did they pull it out of a 60-pound bag, first of all, where was this card in relation to the rest of the bag? Did they just dump the bag out? How is the condition at 8? I have so many questions here.
I know. Did
How many cards?
I'm thinking like a trash bag of cards arrived.
Yeah, how did it not get crumbled?
Yeah.
Like, there's
how many
so many
cards in
questions.
that bag? How many cards in that bag are getting a PSA 8?
Apparently a decent amount of them if the hardest one to find is getting an 8. Like,
wild.
Unreal. Like, the Kobe's cool. I'm sure the Kobe's worth a little bit of cash. Like,
cards.
I've never bought a 60-pound bag of cards before. But now I'm intrigued.
Bag.
I've
I never
bought
bought a bag of
60-pound
cards.
bag of anything.
60 pounds of cards? That's a lot of cards.
It's a fun project, though. That's a good buy. I actually do. 60 pounds of cards does make me laugh too, Jay. I do think I remember seeing this auction on the website. Because I remember it got posted on Twitter or something. I love this, though.
Yeah, it's interesting approach.
Bought it for $60 shipped. It's got to be more than $60 to ship a 60-pound bag.
You're probably right.
I mean, the post office for like a flat rate box, I'm fairly confident the weight on that's 50 pounds. Might be 75, so maybe you got it in a flat rate box. But if it's 50 pounds, man, a 60-pound bag cannot be cheap to ship.
No, cannot.
Like, we think of a big bag of cards. You're like, okay, what's that weigh? 10 pounds? 60 pounds of cards? You kidding me? That's a ton of cards.
If you put one card in an envelope with some bubble wrap, it's like 6 ounces. So, like, that's crazy. Anyway.
Heck of a play. Love the play. All right, next. It says, this is from Bells_cards on IG. Hi, everyone. I went to my local card show in February and found a dealer with 5 sealed F1 blasters marked for $50. I was really interested in this set as it's the first year Topps made an F1 flagship set and thought many people would overlook this since the Chrome version is now on its second year. Spoke with the dealer and he mentioned he got lucky and bought them for retail cost the day prior. Asked him if he would do $200 cash for all, knowing that he would quickly be doubling his money. He was more than happy to accept that. I was happy to pay that as I was just looking to complete the base set. I got lucky and pulled a Max Verstappen gold portrait out of 50. Sent it to PSA on economy for $50 and got the first, and as of right now, only PSA 10. The ungraded version of the card recently sold for $200 at the time, so I listed the card on eBay for $5K oboe and on my slabs for $2.5K oboe. Shortly thereafter, I received an offer on eBay for $3.8K, which I was clearly happy to accept. $3.2K net after fees and shipping. Despite not being a Verstappen fan, I loved the card, so I took the profit and purchased the same exact card ungraded for $192 on eBay, which I still believe is undervalued. I also picked up 2 of my favorite Lewis Hamilton Gold Sapphire cards from the 2021 set for about $500 for the PC. Took the remainder of the profit to help buy my fiance a new car. She was speechless when I showed her the big sale and was beyond grateful when I told her what I did with the profit. Always take care of your loved ones and don't forget to tell them you love them. Keep up the amazing work you guys are doing and keep running this show.
I love this.
What a play.
It's a great play.
Big fan. It's a little bit of luck factored in, like you're saying, because you bought the blasters. You were to have a blaster. I love the idea of rebuying a raw one based off the success of the first sale. I love that, and I love getting money for the car sale as well.
Yeah, I love the buy a couple cards for the PC, buy a card because you believe it's undervalued, give the wife something, fiance. That is an underlooked part of the hobby if you have a significant other, especially if you're looking for support. If you want to continue to do this, right? These are expensive cards we're buying. Having someone that is in your corner supporting you on this, that goes a long way in hobby success.
It does.
Can't understate that. That is a
shout out to all the partners who are okay with their partner buying cardboard wrapped in plastic and selling it for money. Shout out to them.
Yes, real MVP stuff.
Yep, a lot of belief in that.
Ken_Mon on IG says, "Play of the week sub. Was at a local card show and a guy brought in a box of 60s, 70s, 80s mixed sports cards. Woman working at the shop said she was not buying and didn't even look. I asked if I could take a look, and after a quick peek, I offered him $100. I didn't really know what I would find, but was excited to start digging through the box. Listed 100 cards on eBay and sold 22 on the first day alone. So far, buyers have paid $347 for the cards that have sold. Can't believe the lady would not even look in the box. Right place, right time on this one. Still have about 100 cards list as well. This could be over $1,000 by the time it's all said and done. A couple of the cards include a 1961 Topps autographed Paul Hornung, a rookie for Byron Piccolo rookie from 1969 Topps, Mike Schmidt rookie from 73 Topps, a Joe Namath 69 Topps, and then a Fran Tarkington 62 Topps. Got 55, 25, 37, 13, and $50.
Love this. One person's trash is another's treasure.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Wants to be lazy, doesn't want to go through a box? Great. Jump right in there. Take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, in the shop's defense, not everybody has
time, energy, effort, resources to deal with it.
100%.
Exactly. You just don't know what somebody else has got going on, right? They could be behind on bills. They could have more inventory than they know what to do with. They could not specialize at vintage. They might not know anything about it. Like,
totally.
Yeah. Agree with Ty 1,000%.
This is a tough one.
There's some really good plays. The 60-pound bag, 60-pound bag of cards is great. I love the Millie Bobby Brown looking ahead. The buying 11 cards for $10. That's an all-time move. Not knowing really what it is, but cost average. I love the first stop in for 3.8K. That's outrageous. And then buying another one. Vintage, buying that. This is a great week. I'll let you guys go first.
I'm gonna go with the 60-pound bag. That's just the best story out of everyone in this group. I love stories.
Yeah, I'm a 60-pound bag kind of guy. Greg the Yak. You purchase it. It's meant for fun with the fam. I think he mentioned over Thanksgiving. Go through it. Like, takes a lot of work to go through those cards.
Yeah.
60-pound bag.
Yeah, you could mention any of these. Honestly, any of these could have won, and most weeks, like, there's some really good ones in here. Greg will end up being the winner because Ty and Lou both got it. If it really came down to it, I would probably pick the Verstappen one. Just so much involved in that, right? The grade it, buy the card again raw because you believe in an undervalued, pick up a couple PC cards, do some good for your fiance, like buy that. Like, I think there's a lot that goes into that I really like. So that would Bell's cards would probably be my winner on that. but it would be between the Verstappen and the 60-pound bag of cards. So I'm certainly not upset. The 60-pound bag of cards, like Ty said, there's so much. 60 pounds that's a lot of cards. Something for your job to do on Thanksgiving. Like, that's really cool. Finding a PMG, getting an 8 in a bag of cards. Like, yeah, a lot of really good plays this week. But Greg the Yak on IG is the winner.
Shout out to
him.
Greg. I will say that Ryan does follow him, so that makes me a little bit nervous that he's from Ohio.
That would be a real shame. And I didn't even pick him, just to be clear.
I'm really hoping that he's not from Ohio.
Let me see.
Congrats to Greg. You follow him. I checked.
I'll message him real quick.
Watch him be from Ohio. He probably is going to be from Ohio. Unbelievable. Ty, you're going to come to the office. You're coming to the cafe today, right?
Yeah, head in there right now.
Let's go.
Pretty excited about it.
Same.
Yep.
Why is it in a bag, not a 60-pound box? It's a great question. It's because someone literally packed up their house and just brought all these things to Goodwill, and they didn't care about them because they didn't know what they were. Little did they know that there was a $1,000 Dan Marino card sitting in there.
That is kind of crazy. We do have a release this week, and the only reason I really want to bring this up is because it's one of those products that, if you've listened to Card Talk for years, Lou has said is one of his underappreciated sets.
I entered a case break for this.
Contenders Optic drops this week.
Let's go, baby.
Drops on Wednesday. It's one of those ones, every time we ever talk about like an underappreciated asset or underappreciated product in the hobby, Lou brings it up every single time.
Does not get the respect it deserves. I'm telling you.
So that releases this week. You've also got selected baseball and like Leaf Pro Set Power Basketball. So a couple different releases this week. Contenders Optic will by far be the biggest one. Select baseball is cool. You obviously love Select, but it's not licensed, so it probably won't do as well as like football. It's not going to do as well as football or basketball Select.
Ryan, can I tell you something?
Yes.
You can't relate to this, and this is not a shot. This is like a dead serious thing. You can't relate to this because all your teams are good, or most of your teams are really good. I've never had rookies worthy of collecting before, especially in football.
Wouldn't it be the opposite?
No, it's not the opposite.
When you're not good, you pick at the top every year, and you have really good guys to collect.
Yeah, the Jets have.
I've never had good guys to collect.
The Jets have consistently drafted defensive players, so it's not as exciting. And there hasn't been this much excitement around the team in a long time. So, like, I'm pumped that, like, all these new cards are coming out that I like. Yeah, like Tom Brady. Like, what are you talking about, Joe Burrow? Like,
yeah, but you said rookies.
That make no sense.
You said rookies.
What about Burrow last year?
What about Mark Sanchez?
That was like 10 years ago. I wasn't collecting cards then.
Who have the Patriots had rookies that are better than Mark Sanchez was at the time?
I wasn't collecting cards then.
That's a wild statement.
I wasn't collecting cards. What do you want me to say?
Wild statement. Patriots can't draft TBH. Jay, what would you call the Jets then, brother?
This wasn't supposed to be a shot. It was legitimately like I'm excited because I have people.
I didn't take it as a shot. I just think I'm gonna play the opposite. I think you're wrong.
You're gonna tell me that since I've been collecting cards, the Jets have had people worthy of collecting?
Yes, you're picking in the top 10.
Tell me who they've had since 2017 is worth having.
So
Darnold would be the first example outside of Darnold.
That's a fantastic example. 2019. So who's in 2019? That's Kyler Murray, Metcalf, Josh Jacobs. Who did the Jets take in 20? Leonard Williams? Is that Leonard Williams draft?
No, that was 2016.
No, Leonard Williams is not 2016.
Are you sure? 2017?
2016's Bosa, Zeke. That's all the Ohio State guys.
Jets draft history.
Now we got to look this up. We're going to extend this because this is going to go.
This is what you do now because you make me look this up. Ready? Okay, so
2017 they collected Jamal Adams. Not bad. Darius Stewart was expected to be a dog.
He's not even in the league, Ryan. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but at the time,
no.
Jets draft picks 2018.
Yeah, Darnold, Nathan Shepard, Chris Herndon was the top 3 picks.
I mean, Chris Herndon and Darnold back
out of the league. 2019.
At the time, we're not saying now.
Until Mims. I got to get a call 1 minute, gang.
Yeah, let's get out of here because you're ridiculous. I'm just excited.
Well, let's ask the listeners. Jay, throw it up on the story. If you're on IG, if you're on Twitter, I would love to know who has had more collectible players from the draft as rookies that same year they were drafted.
Lou or Ryan? That is the question. Lou or Ryan?
Patriots or Jets since 2017?
Lou or Ryan? He likes
Patriots
12
or Jets
teams.
since
Lou
2017?
or Ryan?
I picked up the Bengals last year on their run to the title. That was just like you did Haas this year.
You're a bandwagon.
Just like you did with Haas. Just like you did with Georgia.
This is horrible.
You're a Michigan guy, Lou. Ask Dad. Dad said you're a Michigan guy.
No,
You're a Michigan guy. You only picked them up.
You're talking about my dad?
Your dad. You're
My
a
dad's
Michigan guy.
clueless about what I like in sports.
No. Lou's had more. That's all we got for now.
We are Penn State.
Peace and love.